Hey everyone, KoBaC here with another action figure review. Today I'm reviewing my very first Halo Mattel action figure. So today I'm reviewing the Elite Officer with the Ghost. It's a really awesome vehicle pack that comes with the figure. It's super awesome. Now this is going to be a little bit longer of a review than I normally do, but there is a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it. So if you didn't know, McFarlane no longer has the rights to be able to release the Halo figures, the ones that they've been releasing for years and years, since Halo 3. Mattel now has it. They're just now releasing figures for it. And initial reaction, the Elite is really big, and the Ghost is pretty neat, actually. I'm kind of impressed by it. So in this set, we get the Elite Officer with the Carbine, which on the back of the packaging says that the Carbine is exclusive to this set, probably just for the Series 1 line, which this is part of, and then the Ghost comes with the stand to be able to display the Ghost. I think that's pretty neat because McFarlane used to have the Ghost released way back for Halo Reach, but it did not have a stand, so you had to kind of just plop it on the table, which was kind of boring. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's start with the Elite. So pull the Ghost out for now. Now the Elite, I know what everybody's main fear was when these figures were announced, and my fears as well when I first started seeing pictures of them, was that the paint jobs looked really, really bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that they look like they did in the pictures. Those pictures that you saw at the different toy fairs and the different conventions where these were on display, that's what we got. That's what this is. It's a very plain, very basic paint job. It's not McFarlane. Okay? The paint job is not McFarlane. What I will say, though, that I'm very excited for is, for one, he can hold the Carbine. A lot of the Halo 5 figures I've noticed cannot hold their guns very easily. It wasn't that big of a struggle to be able to get him to hold this gun. That made me really excited, a lot happier to receive one of these, that I purchased it, way better than what was coming out with the Halo 5. So let's go ahead, let's do the paint job of the Carbine itself here. The Carbine, because nobody has any, of the Halo Mattel line yet, paint job here for the Carbine, it's okay. It's made out of a pretty hard plastic, but doesn't feel as delicate as the McFarlane guns did. So that's a plus, because the McFarlane guns always freaked me out that they were going to break, like the DMRs, the battle rifles. They were so skinny, and you had to kind of fight to get it into the Spartan's hands, and I was like, great, it's going to end up breaking. If you notice, there is a weapon peg hole. Mattel has continued that. One of the things that it had in the packaging was a weapon peg. Now this weapon peg's a little different, maybe because I didn't want to copy the other one exactly, but I'll just zoom in here with it. You can see that it's got two different peg ends with like a bulkier area in the center. So all you have to do, take the gun, either side apparently, because it goes all the way through, just take it, and on the back there's a weapon peg hole, and we can just attach that here. Boom, done, easy. There's two other weapon pegs, one on the left and one on the right thigh. So yeah, not bad. Paint job, like I said, very basic, very basic. Now, let's get into articulation. Okay, articulation for this figure, allegedly on the back of the packaging says 29 points, I believe, for the Elite, was 29 points of articulation. Yes. So that's really good, I think. I'm like, all right, sweet. So in the head, we've got neck joint way here at the base, and it looks like the way that the head is connected, oh, you can't see because my hands are, the way that the head is connected, it looks like that should move as well, but it don't, or not really. So I hope they don't count that as one of the points. So anyway, it moves at the base, can rotate, give you a nice angle of the head. I mean, you can really tell the head is actually doing something and not just kind of staying in place. Because of the way that the armor is on the back of the helmet there, it kind of restricts going up, but we can actually remove the helmet, because if you didn't know, every single piece of armor, which we're going to cover later in the video, every single piece of the armor is removable, which blows my mind. That's a lot going on. So anyway, the head pretty much still can't go any higher than that, but anyway. Waist articulation, very obvious that there is a lot of waist articulation. You cannot rotate 360 as long as you have the butt armor on, which also goes up to the spine because it impacts with the center of the chest armor. Shoulders can get the arm pretty high. Whoop. That's one of the downsides, is that the armor for certain parts seems a little bit loose. But that's the arm all the way down. Can rotate 360 here without knocking anything off. Then it bends at the elbow. Bend it back down. It does have a point where it looks like it's a ball joint in between where the elbow connects to the bicep and the tricep, the upper arm, but it doesn't rotate greatly. I mean, it sort of does, but you can see, zoom in here real quick, you can see that when I start to try to rotate the arm, it starts to put that stress on there, and you see the separation where you can see the white in the background. I don't really like that. I don't like that. That's not a big fan of that. We got wrist articulation here, which, I mean, that's pretty nice to be able to get that all the way. Then can rotate the hand 360. Now for the legs, we've got at the hip, can open the leg pretty far, can bring it back so it's not huge, but I mean it is nice for posing. Can't go any lower than that right there. Can't really kick up any higher than that either. So it's pretty much the range of motion you're going to get is right there. But I mean, it does sort of, it does also twist. Oh, look at that. I didn't even have that loosened yet. So it does twist completely there. So there's a lot that you can still get at the upper leg. At the knee, that's fully extended. That's all the way back. Can rotate at the knee as well. Then you've got the foot articulation, which is a little difficult just because the bottom of the boot actually comes off. So that's all the different points of articulation. I think the articulation is right up there with McFarlane's, if not maybe a little bit better. What I'm gonna really get on about is when I finally get one of the Spartans and I do a review of that and be able to compare that to the Halo 5 Spartans. That's going to be a big deal to me. But I like this Elite so far. I remember from the Halo 4 Elites, which, you know, the Halo 5 is like designed exactly off of, I didn't really like them. I liked them. They looked really cool and really bulky and really big and tough, but then like you couldn't pose them. And he actually has a lot of different points where his legs move differently, so I think I might be able to get him in some cooler poses. So that's a plus. Okay, so now here is literally all of the pieces of armor. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 different pieces of armor that are all removable and can be interchanged with all of the other Elites that they will release for the Halo Mattel line. This is really cool, I think. I noticed that sometimes some of the armor, when I was playing around with the figure before I started the review, kind of was loose, like the boots, the parts that go right up on the forearms. Not a big fan that they just didn't, they were snug, but they weren't really tight and they would fall back out. So that's a potential thing. And that, you know, that these figures are actually supposed to be sold for 8 and up. I don't know about that. I mean, Halo is sort of a violent, mature game, but I know now in Halo 5 it's PG-13. But I mean, you're still shooting people and aliens. So I mean, still for the 8-year-olds to be able to get these, I mean, yeah, it's nice. I mean, I would have loved as an 8-year-old to be able to have figures like this, but stuff would have gotten lost because I did lose things for my other toys. So you know, take it for whatever you want. One really cool thing that we can see now that he doesn't have all the armor on is to really take a look here at the Elite and really appreciate what the detail work that they've done. Zoom in a little bit here. You can see a little bit more of the armor, kind of like his undersuit. I think it's pretty well done. You can see, you know, abs. The back here, I think, is the best. Being able to see like the different parts of the spine armor. He kind of has like a little bit of strength in the armor, you know, that you don't really pay attention to all the details when you're playing the game, because I mean, for one, you never see the Elites without their armor in Halo 5. So, and then you can take a little bit better look here at the face. The face does have enough paint job done to it that is really bright Has enough paint job to it that I do like it. It's painted inside the mouth. You can see the teeth. The teeth are painted pretty nicely. There's not like white all over the place. Cough, cough, World of Nintendo stuff. The eyes are nice. You know, there's a little bit of shading around the eyes, so you can see there's a little bit different skin tone. It's not bad. It's pretty good. One downside is I noticed that without the boots, he doesn't stand as great, but he does stand. So that's him without the armor on. As a size comparison for the Elite Officer figure, here's a McFarlane Halo 5 Master Chief, SH Figure Arts Luigi, and a spoon. So I wanted to test to see if he could actually hold the Halo 5 energy sword, and he can hold it, but it's not really snug in his hand. I mean, his hand is definitely open wider, and I mean, this was designed not for the elites to begin with, but I don't really like that. As a side note, I do really like his carbine being so large, because I mean, these were designed for the Covenant, you know, the Covenant guns. So if I remember correctly, whenever you see like a Marine or a regular ODST holding a carbine, it's really big in their hands. So because the elites are a big race, the brutes, they're big, so their guns are going to be big. But you know, then you get some of these other guns designed for like some of the McFarlane stuff, and you're like, that seems kind of small. It seems more in scale for a person. So I like that this carbine, you know, I like that this carbine is, you know, just about as big as Master Chief. I think that's kind of cool because, I mean, it might be a little bit out of scale with the McFarlane stuff, or maybe a lot, but I don't know. I feel like it fits because why is there a bug here? Go away. Stupid bugs. Ugh. No. Get out of my video. Alright, so now let's cover the Ghost. This Ghost is really big. It's a pretty big vehicle. It does have some articulation to it. First being, both of the plasma cannons do go up and down. That's nice. For the brakes, which are these two, they call them wings, these both can go up and down. And then you also have articulation at the joysticks, which I'll show where you can see it. And the last thing that you have is the seat does adjust. So in the pictures for the manual, it shows how to be able to get a Spartan to sit in the Ghost and also how to get an Elite to sit in the Ghost. So that's pretty cool. The stand is removable. You just pop it off. So you can just have it just down, you know, like if it wasn't actually in use. The stand itself, not really anything special. I'm kind of considering maybe trying to touch it up with some like blue dry brushing or blue ink or something, just to be able to get it to look more like electric. This was 4 different pieces. You got the base and these other 3 pieces plug in. But I mean, it's nice that this is included, because the Ghost, when it's on it, you know, is in pretty good shape as far as like, it's not wobbly, it's flat, it's nice, and I like that as an addition to add with the vehicle itself. Now for the paint job, I mean, it's the same, it echoes the same as far as with the Elite. It's very basic. The plastic, I mean, it's hollow. It doesn't feel really super sturdy. You've got some problems here with the lines, not quite sealed for the seams. But I mean, overall, it's not terrible. I like the Ghost. I'm glad I have the Ghost. But I wouldn't say that the paint job or anything rivals McFarlane at all. As far as, I mean, you know, just not quite to that degree. Okay, so now with the Elite on the Ghost, you can see that he actually does sit on the Ghost. For the most part, he sits pretty decent. You do have to remove, it is in the instructions to remove the back piece that is like his butt and spine armor. You are supposed to remove that. I would probably also suggest removing the cod piece, his groin cover as well. It might make him a little bit easier to be able to sit. But you can see that he does sit in the Ghost, and I mean, he's not falling all out. I wouldn't like go and throw him around the house or something. I mean, he would fall out at that point. But if you can see here where his hands are, I have actually gotten it where he can actually hold the joysticks driving sticks, whatever you'd call them. He actually is holding them, so I mean that's good. So overall, fits in the vehicle. I'm like, awesome, that's great. And as a quick side note, I wanted to see if the Halo 5 McFarlane figures would actually fit in the Ghost, and this is one of the Series 1 Blue Athlons, and he fits. I mean, it's not super awesome, but I mean, he fits. I mean, I'd be happy with that as far as if I was displaying that. So overall, I'm actually much more impressed by these figures, by the Ghost, and by the Elite Officer than what I was really worried about when I first started to see the pictures of them at the different toy fairs. Cons of these figures. First and foremost, the paint job. Now, I don't really know if the price point for these figures is going to be justified when compared to McFarlane, considering McFarlane figures have been doing them since Halo 3, and since Halo 3, well really since Halo Reach, the figures have just been so detailed, so much painting, and just the quality of work is so high that it's really hard for Mattel to follow up and not deliver even close to that. These figures are very basic painted. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you see on the Ghost, like this is decals. I mean, that's not paint job where they painted them. I mean, those decals. The Elite's face is very nice. The rest of him is very blandish. I don't know who made the judgment call on that, but we'll kind of see. Maybe things will change with different series down the road. Other con that I would say is that for the Elite specifically, because that's the only one I can speak about so far, he feels his armor. The figure itself doesn't feel that bad. It definitely feels different than McFarlane figures. But I would say that the armor feels cheap. And you'll know what I mean when you buy one of these figures, whether this one or probably all of the Series 1 Mattel line. It feels cheap. And I don't really like that. But I can work with it. I can live with it. The only real complaint I have about the Elite specifically are these stupid little armor pieces for his forearms. Those continuously fall off in between takes when I'm trying to pose him and the Ghost and everything. And that's kind of frustrating. And that would be the pieces that would most likely get lost the quickest for an 8-year-old. So, you know, that isn't so great. Now with pros, the fact that all of his armor is interchangeable. So I can change his armor around whenever we start getting different Elites. I can change the armors around. That's awesome. The Ghost, he can actually sit in the Ghost. That's awesome. The fact that his scale is 6 inches, he still fits with the McFarlane line. That's awesome. Mattel could have said, you know what? Heck with McFarlane. Who cares about the rest of his fans? We're going to do our own toy line, and it's going to be bigger, or it's going to be smaller, or it's going to be just slightly different, so to throw off the rest of your collection, you know, that some of us have collected for years and years and years, and that would kind of stink. So the fact that they didn't do that, the fact they kept it in the same scale, thank you, Mattel. Seriously, thank you. This toy set, I would say, because of the Ghost, because of the interchangeable armor, because he can hold the Carbine, because the Ghost comes with a display, because, you know, all that, I would go ahead and I actually, even with the cons, I would still give this a 5 out of 5. The reason being is I'm very excited for this series. There's a lot of potential going forward. They kept the scale the same. They delivered on a couple of other things that I wish McFarlane would have done, such as articulation and being able to hold their own guns, even when they're big guns. I'm excited about that, and I'm looking forward to that down the road. Now, I'm very interested to know what you guys think, because this is the first review on this channel of the Mattel line, and because, you know, they're still very new. What do you guys think about this figure line? Please leave me a comment. I genuinely am interested to know what you guys think. I know a lot of us got fears out there as far as the paint job, but you know what? I mean, I would take... It's difficult to sacrifice so much of the paint job, but for me, I always go on the side of articulation and posability over paint job any day. The reason being, as long as it's cheap enough, I'm willing to bump up the paint job a little bit myself, but I can't really add articulation to the figure. So I would rather, because these are still toys, I would rather the toys be fun than focus so much on them looking cool. but not being fun then. So since these are designed for 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds, they should be fun. So I'm excited to see what else they've got coming, and I'm looking forward to reviewing more. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching and subscribing. I appreciate it, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. All right? Have a great day, guys.